Hello, my beautiful Voidian Children, and welcome back to our life. Because yes, I'm recording this all at once, but I'm not going to post it all at once. I'm going to post one video tomorrow, the next day, because, yeah, I only posted a bunch of videos at once because I had missed like a whole month or so of like posting videos. Yeah. I'll never get tired of that view. You stood beside your moms, Lizzie and Cove, as the five of you watched the sun. Yeah, 5. I'm a dumbass. Good guy. Watch the sun dip into the ocean somewhere far, far away. You seem to like to imagine it cooling off in the water, resting itself, before getting ready to shine brightly again tomorrow. That was a fun day. I didn't know that they had magicians at the shopping street now. Neither did I. Oh no, we're all so dull. Let's get out some more. He didn't do real magic, Mom. Shh, Lizzie, you fucking party pooper. How did you figure that one out? 'Cause I know. That's not what real magic looks like. Oh, Lizzie, dear, there's all kinds of magic in the world. Lizzie gave Mom a suspicious look, but didn't dispute the claim. You looked over at Cove, who hadn't said a word since you started home. He didn't look upset, though, just content. You're aware he hadn't quite warmed up to your parents. Well, we can't sit out here all night. Time to hurry home and get cooking. Who's helping with dinner? Lizzie immediately let out a groan. Mom, the summer's almost over. The protest was obvious. You couldn't practically see the school on the horizon. You certainly didn't want to spend your last bits of freedom cooking dinner. You could do that any other day. I like helping my mom with dinner, okay? Can we just play a little longer? We have to keep playing before it's too late. It is almost over. You put on your best puppy eyes. Lizzie may not want to, but you planned on going home. Mom looked down at Lizzie with a sigh and she continued pleading. We'll help with dinner tomorrow. Soon we'll have homework and reading to do. We can't do work now, too. Lizzie made her case and then stomped her foot on the ground. Well, oh come on, Pam. I can help with dinner. Molly leaned in for a hug, and you knew that Lizzie was very close to victory. All right, but as soon as dinner was ready, you allowed her coming inside, understood? Yes, Mom. Come, Cove, dear. You're welcome to join us as well. You sent him a small smile, which he returned. Cove gave a non-committal shrug to your mother, which you took as an agreement. So much to do and so little time. Maybe I could still get the seashell bracelet and tins and trinkets. Oh, or maybe the playground, or the fireflies would probably be coming out, right? Don't I get to say this? Suddenly made your own plans. Lizzie had her own ideas of what she wanted to do, but you were going to do. You glanced over at Cove, considering. A strong gust of wind made your sister shiver. Lizzie huffed as she wrapped her arms around herself. Doesn't the wind know that summer's not over yet? That's all Lizzie said before abruptly turning on her heel and heading off in the direction your mother had gone. Where are you going? I'm going to my room. I have lots to plan if I want to make the most of tomorrow. You thought this over, looking towards the water again. Lizzie didn't wait, and before long she had disappeared off down the road. Meanwhile, Cove was going to the opposite direction, heading for the beach. Cove gave you a smile that you couldn't help but return. Cool. He made a little gesture to you. Interpreted. Oh my goodness, y'all, I'm dumb as fuck. Dumb as fuck, y'all. Oh my god. And then started heading to the waves. Cove knelt down, picking up something you quickly identified as a smooth rock. He reared his arm back and tossed it into the water. You're impressed over how far he got it to go. It sailed way out into the sea. It was a good toss. That was pretty neat. It wasn't a long throw, but he didn't care to try for it. The rocks kind of sunk, like a rock fell back down almost right after he tossed it. You can't skip rocks in the oceans. What are you doing? Deciding to join Cove, you were searching nearby for any rocks or shells that you could throw too. Fucking cutting my cheek, yo. It hurts. I'm fucking retarded. You found a shell that would suit your purposes, a small smile growing as you tossed it hard as you could, and landed with a wet-sounding thunk a few feet away and slipped down into the water. When you looked over at Cove, he didn't seem to notice that his throw had been more impressive. Cove was looking down at his cast, scratching idly at the pink surface, even though you were pretty sure you couldn't feel it. Fucking shit. His brows were furrowed, and there was a frown on his face. It's not fair. I've had to wear this cast for ages. I can't even swim. Cove shrugged and didn't say anything. For a second, you thought maybe he didn't know, but finally he sighed. A few weeks. That's not very long at all. That is a while. That wasn't too bad, you thought. Then at least he'd be able to play normally at recess. And you sometimes got to go swimming during the school year, so maybe he could make up for lost time then. Cove let out. Cove let out a huff, plopping down into the sand. I can't believe summer's almost over. You sat down next to him and nodded in agreement, regardless of the sudden topic change. I don't want to go to school. I would. I don't want to go to a new school. I think it'll be the same school as you and Lizzie. My dad said something about that. Cool, you're going to like it. Everyone's super nice. You've only ever been to one school, but you were sure that his old school couldn't have been that much better. Then again, he did have to make new friends and meet new teachers. It could be kind of scary. Cove shook his head, then wrapped his good arm around his knee and drew them to his chest. You heard sniffling sound, and when you took a good look at his face, you realized his eyes were wet. I want to go home. You never had to move before, but you thought you could understand. If you had to go to a new school all of a sudden with all new people, you'd probably be dreading it too. Even though you sort of maybe understood, you still weren't sure how to help. Okay, I'll see you later. Cove gave a a small shake. No, I don't. I want to go back home. Right, Cove wanted to go back to his old home, the one that sat waiting someplace far from here, the one he would bring up whenever he felt this sad. It had been a while since he had moved in, but he didn't seem to feel any better about being here. He settled down in the sand, trying to consider what to do. Do you hate it here? This can be your home. It'll be alright. It's a really nice home, if you give it a chance. Cove didn't respond to that. He just tightened his arms around his knees, resting his chin on them. You're not going to leave, right? You'll still be around. The question was a little surprising. Your parents wouldn't have mentioned it if you're going to move or something, right? After a second, Cove gave a little nod. Once I get my cast off, we could go swimming. You were fine with him changing the subject again. Okay. You had... When my brother had a cast, instead of not going swimming, he would put a plastic bag around it, the way you would put a plastic bag around it to get in the shower, and go swimming anyways. He had to say swimming did sound fun, even if it was already getting chilly out. Cole smiled, then looked back at the waves. My dad keeps saying I'll get used to everything eventually, that I'd feel better then. It used to make me angry. I didn't want to get used to everything. He spared a glance over at Cove and saw that anger had slipped from his face in favor of something almost puzzled. But maybe that would be okay after all, as long as I really do feel better. I can't see it. You could remember a long time ago when you first started going to school. You had absolutely not been okay with the idea of being away from your parents for most of the day to listen to strangers tell you what to do and sit with kids you've never met before. Things changing is hard. Sometimes being gay is the best option. Sorry, I'm retarded. You're not quite sure what to say to that, so instead you reached out and take hold of Cove's hand. The closest to you is the one in his cast, so you made sure to be very gentle. As you watched, Cove's eyes got a little misty once more. You got the feeling that they were different tears than the ones from before, though. I hope next summer I'll surf and go exploring and everything will feel like it's supposed to again. You gave a little nod, resting your head on his own knees. The two of you sat quietly, just taking in the sounds of the waves. You hoped that Cove could be able to accept this place as his new home. He definitely tried to help in the way you could. There's so many wonderful things here Cove probably hadn't even seen before. Lost in thought, you started a bit when you heard a faint, familiar sound. The sound of your mom shouting your name. You looked over your shoulder, realizing it was probably time for dinner. Time had really gone by fast. You stood up and dusted the sand off of yourself. My mom's calling. It's time for dinner. You should come. Cove looked at you, expression screaming reluctance. Yet, ultimately, okay. When you smiled, Cove returned with one of his own. Wyan, thanks. It was nice, where you were right then. But the two of you couldn't stay there in your own little world any longer. I fucking skipped it, but y'all read it, so it's okay. The both of you ran off towards your house, leaving the waves and summer behind. In between. Go from around and yeah, let's go with the hair down this time. Can't even see the earrings, bro. Let's add braces just to shake it up a little bit. I think it would be more relaxed with him now. And I think we could go for more Crush vibes here. Just cause. Oh shoot. We could do the Pizza Cove now. I always like the hair one. And he'd still have glasses on. I like the lizards. And yes, I think that goes best with it. The fuck happened to his head? Why did he have a bone come out? No, they changed the PJs. They changed the PJs and I'm so sad about that. August ended, September began. It was time to go back to school. Lizzie groaned and complained the entire first week. She hated going back to classes. Still, there were interesting things to do that couldn't be done anywhere else. You weren't sure how Cove felt about it. He was enrolled that year. That was like a sign Cove would be staying in Sunset Bird for a while. At school, he was alright. He kept his distance from the other kids, from what you saw anyway. Wait a second. Yeah. Whenever he could, Cove stuck to you like glue. He didn't even mind that much what you did to pass the time as long as it was together. Sometimes it was like things were exactly the same as when you had first met. But other times, as you got older, you couldn't ignore the feelings that changed in meaningful ways. That year, the divorce from Cove's parents was finalized. You overheard your parents talking about it, saying Cove's dad got full custody. At first, you worried that meant bad words. It made Mr. Holden cry, apparently. Then you found out it meant Cove would be living with his dad, and he could stay with his mom a few weeks of the year. Cove cried too, for different reasons, you thought. It seemed like Cove and his dad might move again, but Mr. Holden decided to stay after all. Mom asked him about it once. He said he didn't want to uproot Cove's life a second time. Mr. Holden tried to get Cove to like Sunset Bird more. He kept encouraging his son to go out and see the place. Sometimes Mr. Holden volunteered you to spend time with Cove. He seemed very confident that it was the effective strategy. Cove never talked to anyone about what happened to his parents and withdrawed whenever it was brought up. It was hard for him, yet nobody knew how to help. Eventually, Cove stopped crying on his own. You couldn't understand why he had changed, but you hoped that it would help him feel better still, since even without the tears, he looked sad. Maybe one day he could say out loud what he felt inside. After that, it felt like things had gone back to normal, except for what was normal didn't stay the same. Years passed, and suddenly you were in middle school. You weren't a kid anymore. You were 13 years old. That officially made you a teen, even if your sister didn't agree. The toys and crayons that used to litter every free space in your room had been packed away somewhere, replaced with new hobbies. There were all other changes too. Cove's cast had gotten taken off. It was weird to see him without intently. Underneath the pink plaster, it ended up being a long, thin scar that snaked around his forearm. Cove's cheeks flushed with shy pride when someone drew attention to it. He also went through the major growth spurt. He was the tallest student in his class for 2 years in a row. Cove would probably hold the spot again next time. In class, people knew him for more than just being tall. He also stood out because of how well he did in gym and athletic situations. Over the years, he became more quiet and reserved. You didn't usually see him talking to other people. And the only kid that came to visit the neighborhood when you were little, Slow, well, he was gone. He and his mom moved back to the south because of her work, just 1 year after Clove came to St. Bird. Bye, Slow. Bye, Slow. Let's take a moment of silence for Slow. Okay, anyway. I actually made some fake tears there. Oh, shit. It had been really upsetting when he left. Lizzie was inconsolable for weeks, but nobody talked about Slow anymore. It was a long time ago. You learned some heartbreaking things became less sad the further away they were, even if it had never gotten any better. That was sad on its own, in its own way. Things at home were different too. You still lived in the same house and all, but it wasn't how it was before. Ma dyed her hair purple, wanting something new, and liked it so much she kept dyeing it. You remembered calling her Mommy as a kid, but something like that seemed awkward nowadays. You're much too old for that word. Old. Lizzie felt too mature for her nickname too. She insisted everybody called her Elizabeth, so you did. Your mom soon gave her permission to go places other than the playground and shopping streets, which she took advantage of. You barely saw her around the old neighborhood. In fact, she only spent time with you the way she did before. Elizabeth associated more and more with girls from school who were her own age. Maybe the difference between 13 and 15 was greater than the difference between 8 and 10. That's kind of sad. You started befriending new people yourself, like Derek. Sure, he didn't live in the neighborhood or go to the same school. What happened was his and Cole's dad struck up a business partnership a few months ago. Since then, Derek would pop up in the area now and then. It seemed like Mr. Shiraz was happy to let Derek tag along to his work if Derek had time for it. Without a doubt, everyone and everything around you had changed. In a small and big ways, you had to. As time went by, though, it was easy to settle into the new normal. Then, before you knew it, the school was over and summer vacation had come again. It was the first day of summer vacation. The sun was hot as ever, but you were inside and away from its harsh rays. To be more specific, you were snuggling up in bed, celebrating your time off by sleeping in, wide awake, your head out to enjoy your time off. I feel like we all be doing the first one. So, fucking hair bear. It was hot, but you still had the blankets up over your head to block the sun. You didn't want to be intruded on your lazy morning. Unfortunately, you hadn't been prepared for the intrusion. From beneath the blanket, you heard the door creak open. Her outfit's different. I know it is. Holy crap. Tits. I'm sorry. You're still sleeping? Wow. Get up. Go away. You pretended to be asleep. You got up. You started to fake snore loudly. You stayed wrapped up in your blankets, not moving an inch, with your eyes closed peacefully. But you impatiently tapping her foot, you could tell she hadn't left. Come on. I know you heard me. Get up now. I will come over there. My siblings would get the cold cup of water. So much for a lazy morning. Your special boy is at the door, like he always is now. He brought some happy summer gift from Mr. Holden. Mom wants you to take it from him. Says thanks or whatever. You did not like the way she called him your special boy. By now, that saying she wouldn't stop her. So calm down already. Be right there. Okay, fine. Really, that's great. I'm coming. I'll be there when I'm there. She said, bitch, I'm out. Elizabeth rolled her eyes and left, having done what was instructed of her. You rolled out of bed, stretching your arms high and yawning. Time to get ready. You sat yourself in front of the mirror, as far corner of your room. Your reflection. Ever, what do they fit in the thing? You were very tall. Your reflection ever. You were pretty tall. Your reflection fit comfortably in the frame. You were at average height. I'm evil. I'm gonna make YN short. Y'all are short now. You're welcome. You were even smaller than Derek. People were always surprised to find out you and Cove were the same age, considering a lot of the comical height difference. I fucking love it. You liked your height. You weren't sure about how to feel about it. You were kind of self-conscious over it. Probably. You couldn't help but feel awkward with the body you had. Then you put on the... Every time I hear a noise, yo. Then you put the finishing touches on your outfit while ruminating on the situation. Careless as they had been, Elizabeth's words piqued your curiosity. You planned on going over to see what Cove was up to today, so this worked in your favor. It was when you spotted your reflection that you realized you were smiling wide. You were looking forward to seeing him. Gay. Y'all are gay. You left your room, taking an easy time down the stairs. I think that's a good place to end the video. I love you, my beautiful Voidian children, and I shall see you in the next video. Goodbye.